Hello, Centerville United Methodist Church in all places but Centerville, Virginia. This is Will Montgomery coming to you with this Tuesday devotional. Oftentimes, Pastor Ellen and I will offer to you what is called the Pastor's Picks. It's included in the Journey catalog that we produce about twice a year. And in that, we are listing some books that we have found helpful, books that we found informative, or books that we found challenging. And we simply are making those books available to you that you might purchase them and include them in your Christian library. And so I thought I would take some time to share with you what I've been reading in these last couple of weeks to let you know what this pastor has been leaning into. I shared with you earlier that I've been leaning in to the Psalms, and the Psalms can then help guide my prayer and guide my way of thinking in this season that we're in, this most anxious and unsettling time that we've been in. But I've also found two books to be particularly helpful for me, and I just want to share those with you. One is written by Susan Beaumont. She's written several books that I've read in church leadership, as she's a church consultant and coach. But this title is How to Lead When You Don't Know Where You're Going. I love that title, How to Lead When You Don't Know Where You're Going. And some of you might be thinking, this book suits you rather well. And, I really hope it does suit me very well as we're going forward in faith. I originally got this book because we are instituting some of those changes in the innovations with the next level innovations that we've been involved in for the last couple of years. And I thought this might be a good resource for us. I also bought the book when I thought, well, our church is headed into an interesting direction, not just our church, but our denomination, is thinking that this would be a season when we would be experiencing some kind of separation, which would have happened this week had General Conference taken place. But that won't take place for another year. But this title in this book still fits as I'm preparing to once again lead the congregation back into in-person worship, and we're hoping to restart some ministries soon. We are between what once was in February this year and what will be. And it's here in this liminal space that God is at work preparing us for new days that are filled with meaning and purpose and promise. And I want to let you know, I'm not going to this next season seeking to institute change. I'm simply naming that change will happen. I'm naming that that's what's going to be for us. New life will emerge. And I trust that the mission of the church, though, will be the same as we seek to make disciples for the transformation of the world. I also trust that we will live into the new vision that we have to be a welcoming congregation, inviting all God's children to experience and share Christ's transforming love. But I just think it's going to take all of us a level of new creativity and using our imagination to live into what is next. The second book I've been reading, I referenced this past Sunday in the sermon. It's a book entitled Let Go, Leaning into the Future Without Fear. It's a book by Matt Mioski, a pastor in a church in St. Louis, a church that he started many years ago. But he tells the story of the church and his leading in the church. And it's not just one where he tells all the wonderful stories of great successes. He's telling the whole story, warts and all, of the painful struggles that he experienced as a pastor, but also the struggles that the church experienced. And throughout the book, he's recalling the story of the Exodus and the wandering in the wilderness until the people of Israel finally made it to the promised land. He recalls how God gave the Ten Commandments that the people, the Israelites, were at their lowest point. I mean, Mount Sinai is geographically the lowest point on their wilderness journey. But it's also the place where they had given up. And we see evidence of them giving up when they created the golden calf and started worshiping it, and they were no longer looking to God. They got impatient with God. But in that place, God showed up yet again and revealed God's self in incredible ways, gave them a new way of being, a new purpose, and a new direction. I imagine at some point in these past 2 months, we've had our share of low points. For some of us, it's just not being able to get out and be among with family and friends. And that on a day to turns into weeks and months, that's going to be a tough season for us. It can be low. And for others, it's been financial struggle with loss of job or just the worry about how much longer I can stay at my job. And for others, it's mental fatigue that comes with all the stresses and trying new things with the uncertainty of what tomorrow will bring. And while others, it might just be the sensing of loss over and over again. But know that in these low points that we're facing, God is with us. God continues to show up. God continues to meet us right where we are. And as I mentioned earlier, it's okay not to be okay, but it's also okay to ask for help, to look to God, to help have others help us along the journey. Because the wilderness where we are right now, it's not the end of our story. It's the current season we're in, yes, but it's not what's next. There is going to be something else. But while we're in this season, I hope we're learning something about ourselves and about God, that we're discerning as we take steps ahead. We're also learning what we can let go of, things that we should be doing in this in between times where God is about to bring forth a new thing. Now, we may not know exactly where we're going in the next few months, but we can move forward in faith, trusting that God, who meets us in the low places, in the difficult seasons that we're in, is leading each of us to days of new beginnings. It might be a bumpy ride, but I'm looking forward to what is around the corner, because we're in this together and we'll be seeking God together to provide that new way. Have a great day, friends. God bless.